when am I gonna see you at Wimbledon?
Yeah.
So I've had to spend the next 10 years of explaining why not. It was kind of like you're the best at something, and it became very natural to me to something that I was really struggled with. I realized as soon as I stepped into the corporate world, it just didn't really feel right. My partner called me one day and said, why don't we build sort of a 3D website builder? Be the first people to make it easy to create 3D websites. And in 2021, you could start rendering 3D on the web. So we were like, we absolutely love this space. We think this is the future, but it needs to be easier to make. I think flat websites are very good for information, but AI is going to be a better place for information.
In my mind, you guys are like the ChatGPT of like this space.
So you get a 3D website because you want your brand to feel larger than life. You want someone to come on the website and like, wow. Building a product for a designer, because designers
it's almost impossible to please, right?
Yeah, because designers, you need to give them all the tool set to design and to do amazing work. 3D websites will redefine what a website is.
Lucas Poelman is a former pro tennis player turned tech founder who's on a mission to reinvent the web. After walking away from the court, he co-founded Peachweb and launched its latest creation, Peachmagic, a tool that lets anyone build stunning 3D websites in minutes. In this episode, we explore his journey from athlete to innovator, why 3D websites are the future, and how his work is shaping the future of online creativity and digital expression. Did you know that 44% of podcasts stop after episode 3? So that means all that time, energy, and money is just wasted, and you never get to truly see the benefits of podcasting. So if you want your show to stay alive and healthy, you can book a call in the link below, and let's get started today.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Long overdue.
Long overdue indeed. Yeah, guys. So guys, to give everyone some context, Lucas is a good friend of mine, guys. And what we're going to be talking about today is the future of like websites, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, so guys, Lucas is the co-founder of Peachweb.
Yeah.
Right. And what they do is they've created a platform to enable clients and people to build 3D websites in four simple steps, basically.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to do today is, bro, dive into, first of all, your background, your story. I know you used to be like, you know, you were a highly ranked tennis player once upon a time. I don't know why the fuck we're not at Wimbledon. You have to tell me what happened. And just dive into, you know, websites and your journey and what you're looking to do over the next couple of years. But before we get into everything, my man, why don't you give all of us a little bit of background about yourself, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Lucas. And yeah, when I was, I guess, 10, that was my narrative. It was, when am I gonna see you at Wimbledon?
Yeah.
So I've had to spend the next 10 years of explaining why not.
So what's that story? So like, were you always into tennis growing up, or like how did you even get into all that?
I think it was just a classic parents stick you in a tennis camp so they can sunbathe situation. So that was when I was like 9, 10, and that was in Spain. And I just loved it. I was obsessed with it. I was just obsessed with it. It came very naturally to me. I loved like competing. I did win a lot when I was younger. I had that sort of gift, and I was just obsessed with winning. And I think from like 10, 11, 12, I started playing like regional tennis, and I'm still undefeated in Surrey.
Hey!
No one can take that away from me. But then at 12, you started to play like national tennis. Okay. And I was, 1 or 2 in the country.
Wow.
And what was cool about like English tennis was that when you are 1 or 2 in the country, you get to go on the trips. So you get to represent England, and they sort of fly you out. England had a lot of money because of Wimbledon.
Okay.
So there was a lot of perks. And so I was like traveling around the world. We'd go to like Miami every year to play like the World Championship.
And this is in what age are we talking about?
It was young. It was like 12. 12 was when they started to realize who was kind of the best of the age group. And they would take 1, 2 or 3 people. And I would travel around the world. And that was like my weeks. That was my weekends, like in and out of school.
Wow.
It was really cool. And you know, you'd always get that, you know, letters saying like, oh, we're going to take you to this trip. And I got to go to school and say, see you later. I'm not going to be here.
Fuck off.
So I was known as the tennis kid at school, right? Because I was never there. Scheduling was tough because I think from 12, you'd have to play like 4 hours a day. and you would have to find time like before, during, or after school. And then of course the weekends you would play the tournaments, and then you would go away on the trip. So it was like constantly like in and out of school. So quite hectic, to be honest, but I loved it. And then I think around like 14, 15, you have a team, it starts to become very serious, and it became a lot. Then it became a lot.
Okay.
And I think my sort of like passion kind of, I love tennis because I'm slightly on the spectrum. Like I love being the independence of it, and it was just my time, and it was my sort of I don't know. It was my passion.
It's Lucas versus Lucas at the end of the day.
Yeah,
You know?
it was just, and I was very comfortable going to the trips and the tournaments by myself. I always had a parent or someone, but I liked the idea that it was me. It was an individual sport.
Yeah.
But then when you become good, you have a team, and then you have a lot of people around you. So it lost that charm. But yeah, it was super intense, but amazing sort of experience. Yeah.
So when did you stop You decided, I'm not going to go down this path and switch into, I guess, university.
So I around 18, I gave it a go. Like I went to Spain. I lived in Barcelona for a year at 16, 17.
Sick.
And I thought like, okay, I'm going to give it a go. I kind of went like full time. I stopped school for a year, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go, I'm going to see. But I just kind of fell out of love with it at that time. And I wasn't good enough, to be honest. Like, I think I was talented enough, but like mentally you have to be on another spectrum.
Yeah, sure.
Like you have to sort of be quite robotic and just super obsessed with it. And I thought I was a bit too normal. I kind of had FOMO of like going out, even though there was nothing going on really, right? But it's just in your mind,
for sure.
you get FOMO. So, and funnily enough, I'm quite tall, you might not realize, but I was short until I was like 17.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so I was quite small. Then I started to lose, and I couldn't deal with losing. And yeah, it was just, it didn't make it.
Yeah,
didn't make it to Wimbledon.
Yeah, that's all It's okay. Hopefully you can get us some good tickets at least.
Yeah, but it's funny, like, do you know what? Sport is the one thing that makes you feel really old. Because...
Really?
Yeah, because like, I'm 31 now. And now I used to get tickets through my friends who I used to compete with.
Yeah.
But now they're also 31. So, so they're slowly starting to retire.
Yeah.
So I don't have any 21-year-old friends who are going to get me tickets. So yeah, the tickets are drying out really quickly.
Okay. Well, we'll try, guys. We'll try to get you guys some tickets. So I've heard this story from I've interviewed different people on the podcast. I've had a Muay Thai champion on the show, and everyone anyone who's been at the top level of sport for like a certain amount of time says what you said, in the sense of you get to a certain point, you love it, you enjoy it, you're good, but then there's that next step, right?
Yeah.
And it's not only can you make that next step, but even when you make that next step, you're like, there's still another, like when you're on the, let's say the elite level, within the elite level, there's a spectrum.
Yeah, 100%.
And
massive spectrum.
And he taught me that, what I learned from my conversation with him is like, champions aren't invincible, they're resilient. But in our minds as the outside world, we're like, he's a champion. How could he lose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in tennis, to break it down, there's like the top 1,000 tennis players who are, by the way, they're all amazing. Like if you saw them on the practice court with each other, you wouldn't know who's Federer or who's not. But then only the top 100 break even.
Okay.
So only the top 100 can actually like make somewhat money, some decent money. And then it's like the top 50 that make a lot of money, and then it's the top 10, and then it's the Sinner and the Alcaraz that are just above. So there's quite a lot of like levels within professional tennis. So it's a lot of people who are like 200 in the world just become tennis coaches, and it's really sad because they are amazing. Like in a Premier League context, there's enough space for them to make a lot of money, right? Like in the Premier League, you have 20 people, 30 people per team, and they all make good money. But in tennis, it's not like that.
Okay.
Those people don't make money.
So it's even. That's so. I never looked at the like football, I guess, tennis analogy. But to your point, if it's because it's an individual sport, it's all like you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I can't even be part of like a team that will allow me to make money. It's about can I win championships? Can I win games? Can I win trophies?
It's brutal, tennis. I think it's one of the toughest sports.
Yeah.
Golf as well, but it doesn't look that tough.
Fuck golf, bro. I think golf is boring as shit. Sorry to all the people who like golf. Fuck golf. But so you do tennis for the first majority of your life.
Yeah.
Was it? I know you said you lost passion for it and fell out of love with it, but was it? I feel like if I was in your position and people who have been in your position, because for like 8 years you were like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
My identity is I am Lucas, the tennis player.
Yeah.
Right. And then you work so hard for so many years and you advance and you get to stages and then I think it's easier to let go when you're younger though. Like when you're a younger person, it's easier to form a new identity. But I think it's harder as you get older. Did you struggle leaving like all behind and becoming just Lucas, I guess, again?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think so. I think after tennis, I enjoyed life a lot.
Yeah. I'm sure you did.
I was like the first one to get involved with everything. I was like, right, we're going to go out, we're going to go to this festival. Yeah. And they're like, Lucas, we don't go to festivals. It's like, we're going to go to a festival.
Yeah, we're going to a festival. So
I was actually like the pioneer of like going to sort of festivals. And it's funny because I had that FOMO built up, and FOMO is just an illusion,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
And so therefore, I was kind of like the first one to really go. And I kind of took my friends with me. So I felt like I really enjoyed that sort of moment, and I was kind of like loving life, and I had this ignorance was kind of bliss at that point. But I think at university, you start to think, okay, like what's the next step? And I was never very good at school as well. So it was kind of like you're the best at something, and it became very natural to me to something that I was really struggled with. And in a school context, grades really matter, and they kind of position you. And I was like, oh, I'm not the best, I'm kind of the worst. And what does that mean for me, and what is the next step? Like I really struggled with the idea of not being the best or not having that sort of narrative attached to it.
Sure, yeah.
And that became kind of relevant at university when you were like, what job are you going to do next?
Yeah.
And that was a tough spell, like during university, the hangovers.
Yeah.
And sort of the anxiety starts to creep in, and what are you going to do next? And I really struggled with that. I was doing like assessment centers at like IBM, and it just didn't really feel right. And I was failing, so it definitely didn't feel right.
Yeah, for sure.
And I didn't know what to do. And I was like, you know what, I'm half Brazilian, half Dutch. So I spoke languages. So I thought, why not just go to Brazil? I could probably get a job there. And I kind of went without thinking too much and started working for like a corporate job during my university. Okay. And it was really random. It was like in packaging.
Oh, okay.
Super random. I just wanted to go to Brazil.
Just get me there.
I kind of wanted a new chapter, whatever that was. And I realized as soon as I stepped into the corporate world, it just didn't really feel right. It felt very slow. Like I had a boss that had sort of like lick his ass, and it was like I had to do that for a few years in order to get promoted. Like in tennis, it was like you win or you lose. Like you go home or you progress every day. Like, so that didn't feel right. But then I started reading about stuff, and The Economist was a thing back then, and I started reading about apps, and I thought apps, Mark Zuckerberg was like super successful. I think apps were like what AI is today. Yes,
there was that app explosion or bubble that was created.
Everything was an app, and self-made billionaires at 20 years old. It sounded awesome, and it was kind of apps were creative in itself as well, right? Like you're coming up with new concepts, and I sort of loved it. So I kind of started writing a list of app ideas, and I did that after work. And then 6 months into Brazil, I met someone else called Lucas. There's loads of Lucases in Brazil.
Oh, okay.
And he had the same idea. And we were out in a bar, and I was like, it was like a virtual fitting app to help you find the right clothing size.
Free. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Very
but
cool.
there was like a 3D element to it. You could kind of preview the clothes on you. I'm not going to bring it up because it looked awful, because the visualization was really, really bad. But and he was like, I got accepted into an accelerator program in Slovenia. There's someone else, he's Slovenian, and do you want to come with us? So I was like, I called my parents, I was like, I'm going to Slovenia next week. And it was all very like wild and rash and spontaneous. Mum was like, Slovenia, where's Slovenia? And you can go, but your big brother is going to go with you. I was like 20 at this point, and I was literally living in Sao Paulo, which is like one of a very, quite a dangerous city.
Yeah. And alone too. Yeah.
And and now suddenly my brother is like chauffeuring me to this new job to meet my new partners. And it was really embarrassing because I was like trying to make a good first impression. And I met, there was Lucas and Gregor. And Gregor's a Slovenian. And then we got accepted to this accelerator program, which was sponsored by IBM, funnily enough. And I learned sort of what it was like to be a startup. It was like a 3 to 6 month program. And that was really cool. It was like super creative, learning about marketing, learning about pitching, learning a bit about the game of like raising investment. And it was super fun. And I think the main moment was when Lidl was also the sponsor, which is a big retailer in Europe. And they were like, we have a uniform problem. Like, we don't know the sizes of the uniform. Can your virtual fitting app be used for uniform? We're like, yeah, sure, ready to go.
Yeah.
Just come back in 2 months, and it'll be ready. So obviously we go back to the drawing board. We had some money from the program, so we started recruiting like developers from like the university in Slovenia, and we basically built this virtual fitting app for uniforms.
Okay.
Little like, this is really cool. We'll do a pilot test. And they came back 2 months later, and it was funny because we had like an office space, and we basically pretended that we had more people working for us than we did. So we had other people from the program pretending to be our employees. So we'd be like in a glass like office, and it was like me and Gregor, and then people would be like knocking on the door, would be like, no, come back later. No, we're in a meeting.
That's so smart.
So we kind of faked it till we made it, and Lidl kind of gave us the contract. So we had like a year contract with them, which sort of gave us the money and gave us sort of more of a platform, to be honest. We were known as like the little kids. It had a ring to it. And, what it kind of enabled, looking back at it, what it kind of enabled was that we were able to recruit very good talent from university in terms of coders. And we had like kind of a penthouse situation, and these kids, they were 20, but they would like to come to the penthouse. They were all like, they just liked the space.
Yeah.
They liked the vibe, and they were working on a cool project. And that's kind of how we developed our team. So we had the same team today. 10 years later.
That you started with back then. That's fucking awesome, man. That's really rare.
Yeah,
really rare. Yeah.
That was probably the coolest thing to come out of it in retrospect.
So this is so interesting. I didn't know that, that whole story. I didn't know you were part of an accelerator. I've done those assessment days too, by the way. One worked out and 90,000 didn't, so like I know, I definitely resonate with that.
Yeah.
I remember when I graduated university, I thought, and I think I've mentioned the story on the podcast before. I thought, bro, like, the whole world's gonna be like, oh my God, Khalid has graduated. Please take our money. We want, like, that's genuinely what I thought. Then after a year of like nothing, I told my friends like, help your boy out. Connections, who do you know, whatever. And I'd have interviews, man, and I'd be like, oh man, it went well. You know, I felt like good in the vibe. And then, but I just never moved on to the next stage. And then my uncle interviewed me. He's like, come sit down. Let me interview you properly and let me tell you what you're doing wrong. So we do the interview. He asked me, he destroys me. We finished. He's like, listen, if it was me, I wouldn't hire you. And that was the biggest, like.
Yeah, but you're my uncle, so hire me.
Yeah, exactly. Also that too. You know what I'm saying? But it's just, I understand your perspective in the sense of, especially in those early years of your career when you're trying to figure things out and you don't know what you don't know, what the mistakes you're making are. So from the accelerator program, then you guys go on to launch the virtual fitting for Lidl, right? You guys do that for a year. Now, I'm curious from your perspective because the developers are the technical people, right? Yeah. But from what my perspective, from the conversations we've had, you understand the tech quite a bit. You know what I'm saying? Like you're almost like the CTO in a way, but maybe you do have a CTO that I'm not aware of. So tell me, how important is that to not only what you're doing at the time, but what you're building right now?
I think a typical conversation is I come up with the concepts for it, and I want it to look like this, I want it to work like that, I want it to feel like this, and then the CTO says, Lucas, that's not possible. Okay. So then I say, what is possible? So it's kind of this back and forth, and then through that sort of tussle, you kind of realize what's possible, what's not possible, and then you kind of educate yourself like that. So that's kind of the relationship. And then my Gregor he's quite technical. He's a designer. So he would sort of, I would tell him my idea. Gregor would add to the idea. He would design the idea. I would look at the design and be like, let's tweak. He would look at it, tweak. We'd give it to the CTO. He said, this is not possible. That's not possible. And then we have people sort of like developing the thing. But then, because we did that with Lidl and we built sort of a project, it was an app, it worked really well, it looked nice, it felt good. Lidl kind of came to an end after a year. And then we were like, okay, what's next? But it was a kind of a funny time where, because apps were the new thing and parents were hearing about those apps and realizing, oh, I need one, people would come to me. And they were like, oh, Lucas is doing apps. So I found myself in a conversation with sort of like family friends who are like, I need an app for something. Can you make me one? I was like, sure. How much? They were like, I was like, 50 grand? Maybe. How does that sound? How does that sound to you? They're like, yeah, okay. And I was like, okay, wow. Like, we're going to build an app for this person. And so we kind of rolled out into an agency.
So like an app development agency?
I think we were, looking back, it's always been like a venture studio because we would do an app for someone else and then we would make our own app. And then we'd do an app for someone else and we'd make our own app. So we kind of used the agency to fund our own ventures.
Interesting.
And we kind of did that dance for around like 8 years.
Wow.
So we've done a lot of stuff.
So you've been an entrepreneur / founder for 10 years now almost. Right? So from the beginning, like from very early in your career. Wow.
And it was really cool. Like I would do apps just to do them sometimes. Like we made this like music app because I'd go to like a house party and I was really tired of like having the host would be connected to the
Bluetooth, of course, to the speaker. Of course.
Or I would be hosting the party and people would be asking, well, what's the Bluetooth? Can I get on? And I was like, no. It's my fucking house. So I thought, let's make an app where everyone would download the app and they would join the session. And you could all like upload your music onto a queue.
Fantastic. It's kind of like what Spotify Jam is now.
What Spotify Jam is now. I kind of came up with that.
So they stole your idea.
100%.
We need to have a conversation.
But what I thought was really cool was that at the end of the night, you would have the playlist of the night.
That's sick.
That was the real moment.
That's really cool. Okay.
Because you could kind of like, everyone's going to, this is a really terrible example, but you'd be like Mykonos summer.
No, but for sure. Yeah, 100%.
You'd like transport yourself back to that sort of night, and it was really nice. So that was really cool.
That's really cool.
And then I did like a fitness app during COVID. We did something in health insurance, was super random and boring. I'm not going to get into it, but we just did things. And then we worked, you know, some of them we broke even, some of them we made money through enterprise.
What was the most successful one out of all the ones you guys developed?
The most successful one was probably, we did something in like health insurance that we did well. We started working, we got a big contract with Reinsurance Group of America.
Okay.
That kind of did well for like 2 years. And yeah, that was, we did a lot of stuff in like B2B where we would make money. So we worked with like, we previously made a 3D editor as well that worked like Harry Potter, Lego, Selfridges, Reinsurance. So we did quite well in the B2B space. Yeah. Where we'd get like contracts through the technology that we built, but we haven't had like a massive like B2C success. Okay. That's something I haven't, Okay. Yeah.
So the business model was always B2B. You guys would either develop your own apps, you know, and license them out, I guess, to companies, or they'd come to you and be like, Lucas, we want you to build us an app for this, for example. Okay. Yeah. So it's really interesting when I have this context now. What you built now makes a lot of sense to me. Because in my question, I'm like, where the fuck did he get an idea to like make like 3D websites? But listening to your journey, 3D was always, even from the virtual, you know, clothing thing was there. Then you guys have the experience over the last 8 years of developing app and tech, you know, right? So then this is now I understand why you guys pivoted into, you know, this new space, because it's kind of been a natural transition. You know, you followed where tech was going and started leveraging that space, you know, so apps were that at the time, and now obviously AI is what it is now.
Yeah, so we started with the 3D fitting apps, visualizing, and then websites, apps. And then in 2021, you could start rendering 3D on the web. Okay. And
for the people who don't know, when you say rendering 3D on the web, what does that mean?
It means you could basically put a 3D model into a website.
Okay. So
gotcha. You could...
Gotcha.
The website could... you could have like a 3D showroom, or you could put, if it's like an AI company, you could have like a blob, or, you know, to represent sort of the AI product. Or it could be a Jordan sneakers, or it could be, or like an immersive visual storytelling. So you're like going through the clouds and the text is coming up. So you could take you through the story, or you could go in the ocean and you could basically like bring ideas to life. Yeah. Like you can bring stories to life, and you're sort of immersing people into that website. It's all based on scroll. Yeah. So you'd scroll, you'd either like go down the page, or you'd go through the page, or you would scroll and something would appear. So you're basically bringing websites to life. Yeah. And when people think 3D, people sometimes think gimmicky, but the graphics that you could have were beautiful, and they were, this technology is called WebGL, Web's Graphic Library. Okay. And it's kind of an engine that allows you to render those awesome web graphics that were stunning and interactive. And it got adopted by the best brands in the world immediately. Okay. Really? So like LVMH, Cartier, Chanel, they all started doing 3D websites. Okay. For campaigns. So like if Gucci had like a new like perfume, you'd be like a beautiful flower bed. You'd click on the champagne, something would come up. Or LVMH would do, if they had sort of like a new sustainability practice, it would go through this like amazing world, and it would talk you through like what they're kind of doing in the space. And Adidas would do like a really cool like showroom. It was really cool stuff. It was amazing that a new technology got adopted by the best. Yeah. And our eyes just lit up when we saw it, and we kind of knew that was the future of websites then. So we kind of self-taught ourselves 3D and WebGL, and then there was an opportunity with this other company that wanted to make like a 3D editor for the web, but it was more like a 360 experience. So like you were in a dome, and imagine like a wall around, and you could have like sort of images and videos. You kind of felt like you were in a 360 space.
Is that the kind of stuff you see in like what came to my mind is like real estate? You know how sometimes there's website you can like walk through the house.
Kind of, yeah.
Obviously, but to a different level with this tech.
Yeah, it was kind of that. Mm-hmm. And we were like, we want to be on the project because it was a great opportunity to sort of self-teach ourselves and get paid to do it. And like Harry Potter and Lego and Selfridges used that editor to create like campaigns.
Wow.
And we were like, there's something here. But we wanted to create the website version.
Okay.
So that project came to an end, and we kind of thought, then we started doing 3D websites, and we were like, let's make sort of a website builder for 3D. Because the problem that we faced was that it took months to build. It cost like 100,000 to create a 3D website.
Yeah.
And we were working with all these big brands, and they were the only ones that could afford it. Or they're crazy enough to do it, to be honest. So we were like, we absolutely love this space. We think this is the future, but it needs to be easier to make. It needs to be faster, and it needs to be cheaper. So my partner called me one day and said, why don't we build sort of a 3D website builder? Be the first people to make it easy to create 3D websites. And this was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, we're no longer an agency anymore. We're gonna go balls deep, and
you're like you're SaaS now, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we had nothing to sell.
Yeah.
For the first 2 years, we were just building.
Yeah.
Building and building. And
I remember even in our conversations, like over the last like couple of years, you'd be like, yeah, this is what I'm doing, and then. So like you can work with us, but the creating the platform to allow me to build was still that's what you were trying to exactly in beta. Beta. You were trying to figure out
Yeah, because basically what you have to build is to make a 3D website builder, you have to build a whole new 3D engine. So think like a gaming engine.
Yeah.
Like building Unity or Unreal. So that's a big build in itself.
And
then you have to sort of do all the animations and the interactions. And then you need to do a website builder. And so like build like a Wix or a Framer.
Yeah.
Then you need to figure out how to put it all together. And in a user experience, like in a user-friendly way.
Yeah.
And that took 2 to 3 years.
Wow.
And
was it very costly for you guys to get to build to like this point? Like
millions.
Really?
I wouldn't say. Yeah, it depends how you look at it, because
for me it's like, is the cost just the cost of your maybe servers and like paying the developers and all that? Is that what your biggest cost is, or are there other things that we don't know about that play into this R&D phase, I guess?
Yeah, it is the developers is the main cost. Like we've had around 12 people working on the builder for like 2 to 3 years.
Wow.
And these are super like creative developers who Google will want to have, or the top tech companies will want to have. So you have to pay them well. You have to pay them what they're worth. And to put it into context, we've raised 1.4 million pre-seed.
Yeah.
And that was finished last. that was finished last year.
Yeah.
So we had 1 year of building without investment. We put all our money in for 1 year. Then we raised 1.4 million, which probably lasted a year and a half. And that finished in December. And we were still in beta. That was the problem. It wasn't finished. And so we sort of we had probably like 8,000 users and probably like 1,000 websites made, but it wasn't enough. So for an investor, like the metrics weren't high enough. And And we knew why, because it wasn't easy enough to make. And designers wanted more, because designers always want more. Building a product for a designer, because designers
It's almost impossible to please, right?
Yeah, because designers, you need to give them all the tool set to do it, to design and to do amazing work. They pride themselves on their work, so you need to give them all the tools. It needs to be easy to use. It needs to work flawlessly. And it wasn't quite there yet. And then the funding kind of ran out. And we knew we kind of needed another year. And so that kind of gives you a context of like how much it costs to make.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So in this past year, like, because now it's...
That was December when the fund...
Yeah, this like almost pretty much a year ago, right? So now here we are.
We're okay, by the way.
Yeah, he's still here, guys. I guess so now you guys have, obviously you figured it out, the platform is ready and so on. So my question is, what was the gap that you guys needed to overcome to get to, you know, what we have right now? You know, what was it in this last year that needed to be
Well, we had to go back to agency.
Okay.
So we have our developers working on the builder.
Yeah.
They just work on the builder.
Okay.
So last December, we were like, AI was coming out, and it probably took like 1 or 2 weeks to make a website on our builder. There was like quite a strong learning curve.
That's still pretty fast though.
Yeah, but people, when AI started coming out, people expect to do stuff in minutes and expect to do things in hours. And people don't want to learn software anymore. That's the whole point of AI. People don't want to learn software. You sort of tell AI to use the software for you. And we were like, okay, we're going to go in that direction, and it's going to take another year. How do we get there is the big question.
Exactly.
Because we've got 10 developers to pay, and they're not cheap. But we have a builder, and we have designers that know how to make 3D websites really quickly using the builder.
Which is still a niche, I guess, skill set at the moment, right? Like the team you have, right?
Yeah.
That capability.
With the technology and with the designers, we could charge around 15,000 for a landing page for a 3D website, as opposed to like 50,000 to 100,000. So we had a very good sort of offering in the market.
This is all in pounds, these numbers, right?
Dollars.
Sorry, dollars.
Yeah, dollars. And then in January, we finally were able to make websites that were worth 15,000.
Nice.
So we were like, okay, we have to go back to agency, in the sense that we're going to get 2-3 awesome designers, and then we're going to have to make, 4 or 5 websites a month in order to survive. And we had to do that every month, because you'd finish the website in a month. So you'd be like, oh, thank God I made it through January. We have enough money to put on the table to feed the developers, to keep the project alive. Now it's February.
Bro, you're
so we'd have to start again. So we'd have to start again, and then we'd have to find, 4, 5, 6 clients who saw the value, who were willing to pay 15,000. We needed to have high margins, because we still needed to pay. We basically had to have such a profitable agency that it would pay for our venture team.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, and we had to do that every month without fail, because we didn't have money to fall back on. So we had to do that February, March, and I was essentially running a new agency with a new offering using the builder. And while my partner was my CEO, who's a designer, had to design as well. Because he was the best designer and he was the fastest designer. So he had to design like a madman, and he had to look after the development team, and we had to keep telling our investors, like, this is the roadmap, this is what we're building, and we had to look after all the users as well, because we had like 8,000 users using the builder.
That's not bad.
It's not bad,
it's not bad
but
at all.
It wasn't good enough. And so we were wearing so many hats, and it's probably been the most challenging year of my life.
Yeah.
100%. But it's funny when I speak to when I speak to investors about, the story of Wix and the story of, I don't actually know the story of Wix, but I know the story of Webflow and the story of Framer. They have to eat glass, eat shit. And they all had to for the first 2-3 years, they had to get like different jobs. They had to like come back to the venture. So we're on the right journey, because it takes years and years to build like a perfect website builder, especially a new 3D website builder, because you're just sort of adding to that challenge. So we're sort of on the right sort of journey, but it's kind of like survival of the fittest at this point.
I understand.
And yeah.
When I look at, sorry to interrupt you, but when I look at what you guys have built, it reminds me of, it's like, how do I explain this? I think using the app and AI analogy is great. Like in my mind, you guys are like the ChatGPT of like this space. You're one of the first people in this space. Now, the challenge with that, as you saw with ChatGPT and whatever, and anything new, is there's a like education curve, right? There's like still ChatGPT probably took, I'd say, a year and a half for all of us to like actually be on it and use it and whatever. I feel this is in the same phase. Like there's a lot of, now people are starting to look like, oh, I didn't know I could build a website builder. By the way, guys, this is not like a promotional thing. I'm not even joking. If you check out their website, it's the fucking sickest shit I've ever seen in my life. Everyone I've sent it to, bro, is like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, I know. It's really insane. And bro, it kills me. I'm like, man, beginning of this year, I built my website. Shout out to that team. They did a great job. By the way. Yeah. But now, and then I see this and I'm like, this sucks, bro. Fuck my website. I want it to flip. I want things to happen. Yeah. So I'm curious for you now in the conversations you've had. So, because you've had to continuously sign clients, to keep this thing running, right? Yeah. So what's interesting to me is I'm trying to understand the client's mindset. What is drawing them to you guys, and what are the hesitations? But fuck the cost. I think it's more of a mindset and a concept that this is something that's going to make me stand out, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're wow websites.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah. That should be the tagline, by the way.
Yeah.
We build wow websites.
So I get a lot of clients from crypto because they want to be like really bullish and they want to stand out. They want to be like the biggest project. So you get a 3D website because you want your brand to feel larger than life. You want someone to come on the website and like, wow, it's like a proper production. And people kind of want to bring their story to life and they kind of want to look really good. It's like branding.
Yeah.
And you want to stand out from the crowd. And I feel like when 3D is known as sort of premium in the space,
yes,
and it's known as like creative and it's known as like bullish to have one. So I think people that want to stand, that's a personality thing. Yeah.
So and in terms of the business model, I come to you. Okay, I go on Peachweb. I build my 3D website through the builder, the builder that you guys have built. And is the model like just recurring subscription to keep the website like up? You're the host basically, right? You're the hosting platform for my website.
Yeah.
So there's a cost to run it. Like I pay for like on Webflow or something.
Yeah, it's like $29 a month.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Or you can build yourself you can build for free, and then once you connect it to your domain, so it's your official website, you pay $29 a month.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's templates as well that you can use. That's like $299 just to help you make the website.
Yeah.
But you need to be a designer at the moment.
Yeah.
And a very talented like 3D designer at the moment. Or you could use one of our experts to build it for you.
Okay.
For like around $15,000.
Sure.
And that will take like a month.
Okay. So that's the model. Interesting. Yeah, because I don't think, I'm, like I was telling you earlier, like I'm dog shit when it comes to like this new tech and whatever. I wouldn't know how to use it. But when I look at this space, I think this is one of those things, like 3D websites is one of those things that now it's the outliers, the cool to have, ahead of the game. But in the future, this is going to be, I think, the standard. That's what I believe, because that's the evolution of websites from Web 2 to now, Web 3.
There is I think 3D websites will redefine what a website is. I think the web needs to become a place of like visual storytelling, brand presence. When you go onto a website, you kind of want to feel what the brand is, and it needs to be an experience. Because I think flat websites are very good for information, but AI is going to be a better place for information. So the agentic web is going to take over the flat web.
Yeah.
But I still think people need a website so people can experience them.
Yeah.
Experience that brand.
Yeah.
Because it's a destination where you can control everything. Right?
Exactly, yeah.
And I think for people that are creative, want to tell the story, want to express themselves, and want their customers to get to know them, it's going to be a more visual storytelling medium.
Yeah.
And I think, soon people are going to rethink what a website should be. And therefore, I believe 3D websites will become sort of the standard for that.
Yeah.
And there are like 2 million 3D web designers now, which is around like 10% of the market. And that's doubling each year.
Wow.
So in 5 years, there's going to be 50% of web designers doing 3D. So it is already sort of becoming the standard. And we're the first sort of 3D website builder. We're we're very early. And I've, suffer for that. But I like to think everything's going to be okay.
I think sometimes there's, you've been a founder now for a long time. I'm a founder too. I think we all have this delusional vision of like, we see the picture, but the whole world doesn't see. It's like, bro, if we just look at it, just get in my head and see it, you'll be like on board, down,
Yeah.
I would agree with you that it is early. Like you are early in the space. Even I never knew these things existed until, we met. But I think sometimes when you make something so good, it's only a matter of time. And I'm not just saying this. I think it's insane. Like every time I go on the website, I'm like, I can't believe it's a website. The animation, the move, the quality.
Yeah. The
quality is ridiculous, bro.
It's only going to get better as well.
Exactly. But it's that thing to your point of like brand, like besides the storytelling, like brand presence.
Yeah.
That is a website you'll remember.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's so many now. And to your point earlier about where it's rethinking websites and layering on what Web 2 was. I had this conversation not long ago and we're having this debate. I'm like, nowadays in 2025, if we take the 3D thing out of the conversation, I was like, do we even need websites anymore? I feel like social media is the website, whatever. But to your point, I can't remember who was telling me this, but your website is your home.
Yeah.
Right? It's your home. It's where you also collect, more than anything, it's where you have full control, but where you collect data.
Yeah.
That element, I think, was the one that I wasn't paying enough attention to.
Yeah. And I think it is your home. I think I have a very good analogy of what I pitched in Web Summit recently. They invite like the top 100 startups to pitch. And I love this analogy. And I basically come onto stage and I go, back in the day, my granddad opened his first shoe store in Amsterdam. And there was something wild when you walked in there, like literally wild. There was a baby lion inside the shoe store.
Okay.
So it wasn't a shop. It was like an experience at this point, right? It was like my granddad was a maverick.
Yeah.
He loved animals. So like when you walked into that shop, you were like, this is different.
Yeah. Do you know the shoe shop with the lion? Like that's what people are going to say. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was kind of, people still talk about it today. And it's just, that was my granddad's personality. He was just crazy with the ideas. He he loved animals, and you just got to know my granddad a bit more through that experience. And I think that's how I've always seen the web, that when you go onto the website, I feel like we need to create something where the website owner can kind of express himself and sort of bring his world to life, and for people to be immersed into it and be like, oh, wow, he's an innovator, or he's a creative person, or he likes everything sort of super clean, and he likes everything minimalistic. You know, you want to get to know someone through the website. And right now, it's kind of like fashion, right? And
that's a great analogy, yeah.
And right now, with all the website builders, it's like we're all living in H&M. You know, everyone's kind of like dressing the same, and it's the same boxy layout, and it's like everyone's shopping from the same store, and everyone looks the same. But what 3D enables, and will enable for a long time, is to create new, like, creative premium department stores from all styles, like a cool Korean style, a cool, you know, like Gucci, a Boss, or like an Acne, or what is it, I Am L'Adore. You know, so that's 3D is so rich in terms of being able to sort of express yourself as you can through all these like wide array of fashion brands. And I think that's essentially what we're offering to the web.
Yeah. And the fashion analogy actually makes a lot of sense. You know, all of us are in H&M, and you know, you want to stand out and whatever. And also, so I can't remember where I saw this. So I was watching a podcast, and they were talking about Drake had this like website. You know what I'm talking about? But it's
in his house, in his mansion.
Yeah, exactly. You're in there, and you can like walk through, but it's also like I can interact with it. I can buy some OVO shit here. I can listen to some music here. You know what I'm saying? And I think that concept is what the future of the stuff you're building kind of looks like. It's merging that with this technology. Yeah. Creating your own world in a way, like the Dior world, but I'm in the world and I can experience it and whatever. That's where I see stuff like this going.
But that said, like what I've learned, there needs to be sort of a balance with. So, for example, there's kind of a different design. So, Metaverse had a design where you kind of like walk in and you explore and you roam aimlessly. Yeah. Pointless.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's not a game.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
There's no gameplay.
Yeah. There's no interaction, right?
You walk in. With 3D websites, it's based on scroll. Okay. So you're not like roaming around. You can have some 3D websites where it's like a showroom, and the Drake one was cool, and we can do showrooms, but the scroll is called like Scrollytelling. Okay. So you're kind of like, you're scrolling, and then like 3D models can appear to sort of visualize the message.
Yeah. It's not that I can engage with it, it's I'm taking you on this journey. Yeah. Through the animations, through the exactly. Scrollytelling. I've never heard that. Never heard that word. But I think it's very it's smart to create the technology in the space that, like, it's how people use like life these days. You know, we're all scrolling on fucking everything. Yeah.
But then, of course, like, you can do the showroom type of stuff. Of course. Of course.
Do you think... What do you think, I guess, is the biggest roadblock to this kind of stuff taking off, from your perspective? And do you think it'll happen sooner than we think, or you think there's going to be some time?
The biggest roadblock is me. There needs to be people like me to create enabling technology to make 3D websites easier to make. Okay. So as soon as I crack that, that's when you'll see a lot more 3D websites. And what I've built and what I'm releasing next month is you can basically get a 3D website in 4 easy steps. Okay. So you tell us about yourself, and then you're going to see like themes, like you're shopping for like different 3D websites. and you're going to select that theme because that kind of represents your world. You're going to vibe with that type of 3D concept, and it could be like a blob for an AI, or it could be like a robot, or it could be like a creative person, and it's kind of like spinning, and it's kind of in this scene, and it's you sort of resonate with that world. And then I want AI to remix that scene, that 3D. So you're basically going to be able to, it's like Lego. I'm going to give you sort of like different 3D scenes, different 3D models, and you're going to tell AI, I want it to be a bit different. I want it to be like this. I want it to be like that. So I want to basically make it like building your favorite Lego collection, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And I want AI to co-create that Lego collection. I'm going to design it, and I'm going to come up with the concepts, but I want AI to co-create and basically drive home that.
Yeah, like bring it, be the bridge to clean it up, like bring it together, make it seamless.
And then you'd go on the website build, and there's a hero section, and let's say it could be like an abstract tech theme, or it could be for retail. It could be like a beautiful showroom with a dreamscape background because you're selling perfume, and you're going to be able to basically drag and drop the three. It has to be as effortless as that.
Yeah.
And then you're going to go to the next section, and then it's like, okay, I just want like a standard sort of portfolio section, or I want a standard shopping section, or a standard about section with web design. And then there's going to be another 3D moment. And then you're going to basically, like Lego,
plug and play, chop and choose. Okay.
That's when it's going to be widely used.
Okay.
It's kind of like building your favorite game. So there's kids building Roblox, right?
Yeah.
And I want website building to be like that.
That's a great analogy. That's a great.
And it needs to be like that. It needs to be like effortless creativity.
Yeah.
And there needs to be a very wide library, and people are just drag and dropping.
So it's very interesting. I think
that's when it becomes a thing.
There you go. I like the Roblox analogy. I think it makes perfect sense. And going at it from the angle you're going at is because the challenge now, listening to what you said, is the simplicity of actually building it for me as like the user. But there's a adoption phase, right? And you need volume. You need people like me, people like normal people to be trying this, whatever, to start changing people's mindsets in the space. I think brands are much more, to your point, in tune or understand or see the value in doing something like this, especially early now. But for a typical founder like myself, or people who are just there and they don't understand websites and stuff, I think we're the ones that need to be active on these platforms to learn, which helps the cause, for what you guys are doing.
Yeah. I think people just need to see more 3D websites, I think we need to make it easier to make, so there's more. It's just like it's a snowball effect.
That's the cycle, right? Yeah, 100%. So just to round off our conversation for today, my man, I just have a couple more questions for you. So you've been a founder for a long time, right? And so you've been through it all. You've raised money. You've done, ups and downs, struggling to get clients, like the founder journey. You know what I'm saying? So you did it first with little, then you did it with the agency, and now you're doing it with this. What has been, I guess, the common thread across those three career jumps that you feel has been the key to getting to where you are right now?
The team. Having a partner. I've been with my co-founder for 10, 11 years, and we've never argued about money, because sometimes money is super low, and we've never thought, oh, I deserve more money, or because you made that mistake, I'm going to take more money, or you were the reason for that venture failing. No, we're like, what's next? Let's channel our energy into the next challenge. And I think to have that like really positive relationship with someone gives you the energy. I think entrepreneurship is so tough from dealing with everything from the external world, because you have to eat shit every day.
Yeah.
And if you have to, sorry to say it again, eat shit internally, it's too much. So I think the only way to make it is by having a team that you get along with and you both contribute in different ways, because you can't do everything as well.
Yeah. And when you guys were going about build, because this is, I think, important. So you've been with the team for a long time, I guess. What are the, because there's a culture that's created, right, within the team. And I guess, because I think a lot of founders right now, and a lot of people that I speak to, sometimes they're looking for co-founders, they're looking for this, they're looking for partners. So if I came to you, I'm like, oh, Lucas, I'm considering working with this guy. What have you learned working with your co-founder about these are the criteria that make a good, like a strong partner?
Just has to be a good person. I know that sounds really, it's very difficult. It's like finding your girlfriend. It's very unique to you. You know, you have certain strengths and they have certain weaknesses, and you complement each other.
Yeah.
So it's kind of identifying what your strengths are and what their weaknesses are, and whether you can kind of complement, and whether they're just a good vibe. You know, whether you can see this person every day, whether you want to sort of do this whole journey. It's kind of like finding an actual partner.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was single till I was 30.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and that was kind of like my and then women asked me like, what was wrong with you? You know?
Yeah, by the way, by 30 it's a fair question.
But but I was like, but I've been in another type of relationship for 10 years.
Yeah.
And that was always an excuse. But
That's great. I can stick around. Yeah.
I can stick around.
Yeah.
But I was so sort of devoted sort of to that
Yeah.
relationship, and I think you have to kind of treat it like that.
Yeah.
And how do you find that relationship? Well, I don't think dating apps work. Or co-founder apps work. They could work because they increase the chance of actually just meeting someone.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then you go from there.
Yeah.
But there's no like formula to it. You just need to go out, go to events and meet people, and you kind of need to get lucky.
Yeah. There isn't an element
It's
of
just
luck,
like
right?
finding a girlfriend. Like you just got to kind of, you're not going to achieve anything at home.
100%, man. And I think I love that analogy of, in the sense of you need to do it like, there's no formula to it, right? And I think what we're trying to do in life is we're always trying to find like, what's the system, what's the formula, what Khalid do 1 2 3, I'll get a co-founder, build a website 1 2 3, you know, it's obviously a little bit different, but we're always looking for an answer, but sometimes there just isn't. I'm really happy you brought the personal aspect into it, because it's unique to you. You know, the chemistry you have with your co-founder, that's super important. Are they a good person? And look, the testament of it is that you guys have been together for so long with the same team. That's the sign of a good team. You know, that's had success. Not like a team that's just doing shit the whole time. You know, so that's actually very helpful for a lot of people to hear. Yeah.
And when you do find sort of the girlfriend or boyfriend, that's also shout out to Colleen.
Shout out.
Because now I'm now officially not single anymore.
Yeah. Just FYI, everyone, okay? Just so we know. Yeah.
Then you need to also find a girlfriend or a boyfriend that is sort of understands your journey and sort of helps you with that journey, and that's also very difficult to find. And it took me a long time to find it, and Colleen's wonderful, and 30 years old, and I have my first sort of relationship, and I wouldn't have it any other way in that sense, you know. So you can't really force
100%.
the matter, because my mum was like, when are you going to have your first girlfriend? I was like, you know, I'm not really feeling it at the moment. I'm busy with this, and then, you know, it's
life happens.
just life.
You know? Yeah.
But I think what you're doing of like doing 200 episodes, and if you were ever looking for a co-founder, that's a great example of how you would find one, because someone would just see you and
let's do it together, right?
And that's it. Like, just what you're doing, showing up every day and doing this is.
Yeah. I think the part, first of all, I really appreciate that. Thank you for saying that. But the partner aspect is also an important one that is not talked about enough. Of, your girlfriend, your wife, whatever. It's been a very interesting experience for Lana and myself, because she's a career person. That's, she likes structure, she likes this, so she doesn't understand my world, and I've tasted hers, and I realized very quickly, I'm like, I don't like that taste, it doesn't work for me. So you got two people who think very differently, and now I have to show you, like, this is what I'm doing. And the hardest thing has been, like, for us is Lana is like a planner. This day, this time, I'm gonna eat this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And in the entrepreneurship space, so she was trying to bring that into this. She's like, what's the plan? I'm like, I have the vision, I see it. I don't have like a day-to-day plan, but I have an idea of how I'm gonna get there. And to her, that doesn't work. But I told her, in my case, my plan today, I could wake up tomorrow and it could be completely different. I'd have to pivot. I have to change, which is what you guys, what's kind of what you guys did too.
Yeah. I do feel sorry for them.
Yeah. It's hard.
It's really hard to be with us. I think it's more of a challenge for them. I think, what we need is someone that sort of understands it and appreciates it and respects it. And sometimes we need to realize that work is not everything, and we need someone that for sure, sort of grounds you. And I could work during the weekends if I wanted to, and Colleen will want to take me out, and I am social. You just kind of need that sort of positive sort of So I think to have someone, I think it's tougher for them, because I'm so lost in my world sometimes that
you preach. Amen to that.
I think. But then you need to find someone that is going to give it a go with you. Exactly.
Because it's also a risk too, right? You know what I'm saying? But no, I fully agree with you, man.
Yeah.
And to round off our conversation for today, Lucas, got two more questions for you. These are questions I ask all my guests.
Yeah.
So looking back at your life, whether personally or professionally, when I ask you the question, what are you most proud of for yourself? What would you say?
I think the team. Having the same team for 12 years. Nearly 12 years. I think we've been through thick and thin. It's gone through so many different ventures. And I think we love the work, and I think that's probably it.
Yeah. But what you're saying is we've been through thick and thin. It's not just going through thick and thin in like the work we've done. Over the 12 years, the people you were when you guys started all this are not the same people that you are right now. So it's also the life. Everyone's individual life, that has been going through this and still somehow managing to stay together. I think that is something to be very proud of. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And for my last question, Lucas, what is the message you'd like everyone to take home with them today?
Choose your team wisely. I think if it doesn't feel right, it's not going to work. If you're in a relationship with someone who doesn't feel right, that's also not going to work. Yeah. So be honest with yourself, with who you're doing the journey with, because that is the only thing that doesn't change. Everything else will change, but that's the thing. That's the constant. Yeah. Man, I really think that's a great message. It's one that not many people have actually said on the podcast. So it's a little bit of a different one, but to your point, underlying everything we talked about today, if you don't have, and we've heard from the most successful people ever in the world, what do they all talk about? The team. That's all what it comes down to. And if you don't feel it, don't. And from the beginning, that's probably not going to change. So I think that's very, very good advice. Yeah. Lucas, my man, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show today, bro. This was so much fun. Yeah. It's a brand new world to me, a world I don't know about. I got to know so much more of like your story and how you got to this place. And I think for anyone
looking to enter the space, hopefully this episode piques their curiosity to start looking at what 3D websites are.
Yeah.
For anyone who wants to reach out with you, work with you, connect, check out the website, where can we get in touch?
Peachweb.io. So it's like Apple, but Peach.
Yeah.
Web.
And just around it, where'd the name come from?
It was kind of like an Apple thing.
Oh, okay.
We love
Yeah.
Apple.
Yeah.
What they did for the design world, and we want to do that for the web.
Beautiful.
Trying to make the web peachy.
There you go. I like that. Lucas, my man, thank you so much. This has been a pleasure. We'll make sure to put everything in the show notes. Guys, everyone listening, thank you so much. Please make sure to like, follow, share, and subscribe to the podcast. I hope it helps. Pod on all channels. And as always, guys, hope it helps. Peace. And that's another episode in the bag, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, podcasting is like this massive jigsaw puzzle, and my job is to help you find that missing piece. So if you're someone who's looking to launch your own podcast or take their podcast to the next level, you can book a call today and let's get started. TikTok.